We are joined right now, I'm sure he agrees with that statement, by John Esposito. He is the CEO of Bacardi USA. John, so glad to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Good morning. It's nice to be here.
I'm wondering, with these premium brands, right? You have Grey Goose Vodka,
Right.
Bombay Sapphire Gin. Is that a disadvantage in an economic climate like this?
It's not really. You see a little bit of trading down from consumers, but the reality is that when consumers go out today, they really want brands that they can trust, brands that have some heritage, brands that they know, and that works really quite well. I mean, Grey Goose is the #1 super premium vodka in the world. Bacardi's the #1 rum in the world. So when people go out, and they're going out a little bit less today than they used to, so what happens is they're going for brands that they know and trust, and so that really works well for us.
Does your research show, though, that they're buying the same amount? In other words, they're buying the amount from the liquor store and then going home and having a party instead of going to a club?
What research shows is that people are doing more at-home entertaining. And I think for the younger generation, that 21 to 29-year-old, they're doing more getting together at home, having a few drinks, and then going out to party. But before, they would go straight out to party. And again, that works really well for us, because when they're home, the brands that they trust, like Grey Goose or Bombay Sapphire, they're bringing it home and they're making their cocktails there.
Now, you don't have an Old Navy line to Gap, so to speak. You have no trade-down brands in-house. Is that something you would consider, or you don't think it's necessary?
It's something we would look at for the future, but if you look at this economic situation, I believe it's going to be, it's longer than we'd like it to be, but it's going to be short term, and we want to focus on continuing to recruit new consumers to our brands. I think when people go out less, when they go out, they want that experience to be a good one, and therefore they're going to go to brands like Grey Goose or brands like Bacardi, and it works really well.
Because one of these key demographics, and you mentioned the age group, the 21 at least to 25 group, has 17% unemployment among men, young males. So I mean, that has to be hitting the bottom line.
It hurts them, no question about it. But it's funny, even though there's unemployment, and a lot of that unemployment comes from people recently graduating from school and making it difficult to find jobs, but they still are going out and they're being invited over to friends' houses and entertaining, and so we're still there with them.
So you talked about getting new customers in. You're spending a lot on ads. Everybody else is talking about cutting ad spending. You're actually spending as much as you did last year and the year before?
Yes, we have. We spent as much in advertising this year, past year, 2009, and we will spend 10–15% more in 2010. And I think it's critically important in a business like ours. You have to take a look at our business. Our brands like Bacardi. Bacardi's 148 years old. Our challenge is to keep our brand relevant to new consumers. And in this industry, it's always important as you think about repertoire, as recruiting new consumers in, because when you come into the spirits business, you end up with a large repertoire, depending on what occasion you're having. You're either out with your girlfriends and someone's ordering a Cosmo, and you say, sure, I'll have one of those, and maybe at home you're drinking a glass of wine, whatever. So as you do that, it's important for us to bring those consumers into our brands.
You mentioned one interesting thing about the mojito. It's a little bit hard to make, right? So now you're marketing a certain kind of mix where people just add the liquor at home?
We call it ready to serve. We have Bacardi Classic cocktails. We have a mojito. We have a daiquiri, as you mentioned before, by poolside. When the sun comes up, it'll be ideal around lunchtime. And we have them ready to serve, so the consumers, because they're a little more difficult to make at home, you can bring it right home, pour it over ice, ready to serve.
But what do you lose in the ritual, John? I have to ask you.
The ritual is when you're out. I mean, it's always fun to watch the bartender. I remember when we put the mojito about 6–7 years ago, and we started promoting the mojito, bartenders would tell us, this is so much work. Now, every bartender in the world, every good bartender is muddling in all kinds of fruit. It's all about fresh fruit. It's all about the ritual, sitting there watching them make it, getting that fresh mint smell. It's fantastic. All
right, well, now I'm thirsty. John Esposito, we thank you very much. John Esposito is the CEO of Bacardi USA.